Howdy folks, I am just showing you my DIY autopilot in prototype running on my Raven 26 yacht out in New Zealand. Just coming out of the Maharangi harbour today. Day after Cyclone Cook, we did pretty well, just a bit of residual swell. Anyway, a few months ago I bought this boat. It came with said autopilots and its brains were dead. I knew a teeny bit about Arduino and have decided that I could have a go at replacing the brains with an Arduino system and use the existing linear actuator or the push rod from the old autopilot, which was fine. So what you see here is the autopilot running under engine, powered, or giving commands rather, by, sorry about the engine noise, by this system here. And this is my prototype Arduino autopilot. I've used plans from a bloke called Jack Edwards, so I'll put a link in the video. Here we've got the brains, the Arduino, which is a little sort of computer really, called a microcontroller, control keypad, LCD screen. At the moment I'm powering the brains out of just a power bank battery, and in here is the IMU, or which is essentially a compass. As you can see, it's a beautiful setup at the moment, but she's just in testing and she's running really well. I will head back to the bench after this and open her up and give you a proper description of how it's all put together. So here we are now under sail. Autopilot's doing well, it's having to handle a bit of weather helm. We haven't got a balance rig. Just going under main today because it's just me on my own. I'm cautious. But it's doing it. It's great. Current draw's low at around 500 milliamps. And we've got the motor controller's better than the original, and it graduates its effort. It's not all or nothing like the original. Going well. So far so good. Okay, we're back on terra firma after a really good sail with the autopilot today. Just thought I'd give you a bit more of a tour of the thing. So as I mentioned, there's a little digital compass there. This breadboard here is just power supply and connections to it, and the actual digital compass is under there. It's a Pololu one. It's called an IMU, or inertial measurement unit, but it's basically an electronic compass that compensates for tilt and roll and pitch and things like that. Next is the battery. That's very much temporary. Eventually, when I fabricate the thing, I'll use a 12 volt to 5 volt DC power supply, and that will power the Arduino. So that's just a temporary for testing. And in here, as mentioned, we've got an LCD keypad for control, and inside is the Arduino. It's got what's called a shield on top of it, which is basically a soldering platform that you plug straight into the Arduino to save you soldering direct to the Arduino. And over here is the motor controller. That is a Pololu item again. And there's a source for the stuff if you're in New Zealand, a guy out of Ashburton I think it is, called nicegear.co.nz. It's really good, recommended. So I've fabricated this up basically to Jack's plans, but the one bit that was different is that Jack had wheel steering and I've got tour steering, and so the way my boat's set up, there's no way of getting a rudder feedback thing on the rudder shaft itself because it's all encased in a fiberglass tube. So what I did instead is I incorporated rudder feedback into the linear actuator, into the old Telepilot. So what I've got here is belt and pulley system, and the pulley system goes onto this 10-turn potentiometer, 10-turn pot. This turns around, feeds back into the Arduino via a separate cable at the moment, but it will be a single cable once I fabricate the final version, and that gives back rudder position indication back to the Arduino, and it's a much improved system with that. So how it works, it's off at the moment, just in standby. Press 1 hit compass mode, and that's just centering. And then if we move the compass, we get steering. And you'll see the feedback pot turning there as well. So the next stage of this project for me is to look at what will be a homemade linear actuator rather than this. I'm not particularly enamoured with this setup here. It seems quite fragile and the belt does slip quite a lot. So I'm going to have a go at making a linear actuator out of 3D printer parts. Again, to improve the functionality and the DIY nature of it all as well. Alright, I hope that's some help. Any questions, please feel to post them below. And I'll put a link through to the original plan from Jack Edwards. Have a look at his videos and you'll see he's the brains behind it all really. And the only bit I've done is incorporated this rudder feedback, different rudder feedback system to him. But it all works really well, and I'm really impressed with what's gone into his thought here, and with my rough fabrication I've been able to come up with a really good replacement Telepilot. Cheers.